will be able to say very similar things about this 625 plus horsepower vehicle. But the new LT4, it's going to be mated standard to a 7-speed Tremec manual transmission with active rev matching. And the rev matching, it can anticipate your gear selection and maintain throttle, or blip the throttle for you, if you will, as you shift through the gears. You don't have to heel toe it, you look like an absolute pro. For those of you who want to match through a old school style, far be it from us to take that thrill away from you. You can deactivate the rev matching from the steering wheel, or for the first time ever, we're offering an 8-speed automatic transmission option in the Z06. Now this is a traditional automatic transmission. This is a torque converted, it's not a dual clutch design. Now with that in mind, this still shifts faster than the PDK dual clutch system in the Porsche 911. So this is track ready as well, right off the showroom floor. So the other part of the story with Z06, outside of performance, is aerodynamics. This has the most downforce of any production vehicle we have ever offered at General Motors, and it's available in 3 different levels of aerodynamic appointments. So the standard Z06, it'll feature a rear spoiler similar to the one that you find on the Z51 version of the Stingray. If you'd like to take it to the next level, you add the carbon aero group, and that can be seen here. That's going to give you this carbon fiber front chin splitter spoiler. It's going to give you the carbon fiber rocker panels, and it's going to give you the larger rear spoiler as well. You can get those either exposed or painted in this color that we call carbon flash metallic. Now, if that's not enough, and you want to go to the zenith, if you will, then you add the Z07 performance package, and that is also featured here. So Z07 is going to add those winglets against the front side of the chin splitter spoiler there, and then this portion here in the rear, this transparent piece, it's called a wicker bill. It's adjustable. It's designed to be raised at the track. It's all about adding downforce. We want this to be as sticky as possible, considering the kind of power you're going to be working with. But Z07 is also going to give you these drilled carbon ceramic rotors that are collectively 23 pounds lighter than the Z06 standard rotor, as well as Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires, which will replace the standard Michelin Pilot Super Sport tire. The Cup tires are stickier compound, more track oriented. The Super Sport tire is like a dual purpose tire. Now, because going fast is awesome, but you need to be able to stop too, right? Jeremy Clarkson says going fast has never been the issue. It's stopping on a dime that you want to be able to do, because otherwise you have some problems. So that's why you're going to get Brembo brakes with 6 piston calipers in the front and 4 pistons in the rear standard. Brembo is the name in the game of performance braking, and that's why Brembo's all you're going to find on any of our performance vehicles here at Chevrolet. Now we had to bring out the front fenders over 2 inches and the rears over 3 to accommodate these massive 335 rear tires. The wheels are 19 and 20 inches staggered respectively. All the venting is functional. We've got front